And joining us now to talk about his experience in the rallies, we have political strategist Alan Herman to help us unpack the divisions within the protest movement as well as their impact on the country's political landscape. Magandang umaga sa'yo. Kamusta ka? Where were you at yesterday? Which rally?
Well, definitely, I stayed on the EDSA side, Gretchen. I'm tired. Wow, this old body can only take so much walking. But ewan ko, na-inspire kasi ako dun sa kaibigan ko yung tumakbo sa The Hague tapos hiningal-hingal eh. Sabi ko, I have to get in better shape than that lady, no? So thankfully, I wasn't that fatigued. I got off at the Annapolis station using the MRT, and then we walked pretty much the length of EDSA until we reached the Galleria area where the EDSA shrine is. So we were able to get a good microcosm, big word, no? A good microcosm of the dynamics at play yesterday in that short stretch. I wouldn't call it a short stretch. That's maybe a 5 kilometer stretch. But very interesting and very, very fulfilling. There was nostalgia. I saw a lot of old faces, but perhaps more heartening are the new faces that I saw. Daming Gen Z. I would even venture to say that it was Gen Z led.
Yun nga yung parang gusto kong tanungin sa'yo, no, about this movement. Do you think it was more for the young ones to finally have their own version of a people power because nga yung mga kabataan tulad namin, hindi na naranasan niya. Diba?
Yeah.
And do you think there's something different here, like a movement building, or do you think it may be just a one-time thing? Anong naramdaman mo?
Well, let me put on my analyst hat, no? The challenges, ang tawag dyan, Homeric flaw. That which makes it challenging also gives it momentum. So, first challenge natin, di ba, pag rally or organizing a mass movement is social media. Because in the age of social media, unlike before, during my time, Gretchen, and not yours, if you had any indignation or if you're feeling rage or if you were feeling, severe anger or disappointment with the government, you had no choice. You had to go out in the streets and march. You had to join other like-minded people and gather and shout, etc., and go on a protest physically. But now in the age of social media, to scratch that itch, all you have to do is post an angry rant on Facebook, maki-share ka ng memes, make your voice known on social media. So that was one challenge. But it also makes it great because with the Gen Z leading, ang bilis nilang magpanawagan, ang bilis nilang mag-organize. They're able to mobilize in quick bursts and very thoroughly through social media. The second challenge is yung tinatawag nating protest fatigue. A lot of people are saying, they have that sensibility. Magmamarcha naman tayo, we're going to make all of this noise, we're going to go out in the streets, but nothing will really change, nothing will happen. There's that sense of almost a gloom and doom, di ba, at the end game. But the Gen Z are inflicting a new hope, or infusing rather a new hope in the dynamic.
Or bringing you energy.
They're bringing new energy. It's youthful dynamism, sabi nila. In the age of and we're seeing the age of the Pico influencers, di ba? Kasi it's great that, there are super macro influencers like Catriona Gray and the celebrities. Vice Ganda was there. A lot of these big name celebrities were there. But it's really the age of the Pico influencers of Gen Z. Yung personal communities nila, nagyayaya sila. Yung mga magulang nila, yung mga tita nila, they're trying to open their eyes politically and bringing them to the rallies. So
Pico as in personal community.
Yes. So smaller than Nano pa. So we're seeing that democratization of influence, so to speak. And I saw that at play yesterday. It was really the kids creatively expressing their protest and wonderful sight to behold.
Just curious, paano mo na-identify na maraming Gen Z? Meron ba silang ginagawang kakaiba? O mukha lang talaga silang bata?
Well, number one, mukha silang bata. Number two, their signs. Di ba, I've said this a lot of times before, no? Pag ang delikado, pag politika ka, pag yung mga tao na yung gumagawa ng sarili nilang placard, if they're already taking the cartons and, tearing up the echo bags and getting their markers and making their own signs, that's when you know the indignation and anger is genuine and real. It's not so much these really very slick commercially made placards that they're carrying anymore. Yan, yung mga gumagawa sa kartolina, sa karton. And the Gen Z are funny. I mean, a lot of the signs I saw yesterday made me laugh. Nakakatawa sila. Creative silang mag-express ng kanilang galit.
We also saw celebrities coming out to speak strongly against corruption. We had Vice Ganda, nandun din sina Angel Aquino, Jody Santa Maria, Donnie Panghilinan. How vital is the presence of these celebrities juxtaposing, I guess, with the issue of a common Filipino here? Para sa'yo, do you think all sectors were properly represented here, or meron ka pang hinahanap na hindi pa lumalabas?
Well, in terms of, I'll unpack that question of how vital are the big celebrities. Honestly, they're welcome. It's always nice to see the big celebrities supporting a cause like this. At least you know that, again, it gives you that reassurance that this issue transcends social classes, transcends a barrier in terms of age, gender. But right now, in terms of impact, overall impact, sabi ko nga, mas binibigyan ko ng value ngayon yung mga Pico influencers rather than the big ones. Kasi, I hate to bring it up, but like we saw in the last election, all the celebrities came out in support of a particular candidate, made a dent, but not quite that dent that we were looking for, perhaps, or at least their supporters were looking for. But it's really the small communities, the smaller than nano, what we call circles of influence talaga, na dinadala mo yung kamag-anak mo, yung kaibigan mo, you're making them aware of this issue, this very pressing issue that affects all of us.
So more weight on the voice of the Pico influencers. Some are worried that baka ginagaya lang natin yung mga rally sa Indonesia and Nepal. Your thoughts on that? And I mean, there are fears that this may be just a trend that we're jumping on. Are you seeing something real here happening that may exact change or impact the hearings happening over in Congress and the Senate?
Right. So first about the Nepal and Indonesia violence, I echo Kiko's sentiment about that. I'm absolutely against any such foolishness happening. Wala po tayong mapapala pag yan ang route na pinili natin. And as you can see, ayan, yung one piece flag nila, yan yung parang holdover from the other protests in other countries. I'm not sure if we're looking for an overthrow because sa totoo lang, personally, tama na yung politics of person. Tama na yung personality politics. Palitan ng sistema, hindi yung tao. I think the broader call here is to change the system, not the people. Because telling you overthrow one guy, the next guy steps in, and it's the same system. We're going to be back in the streets. You overthrow that guy, another person steps in. Unless you change and overhaul the system, it will be ad infinitum, ad nauseum, just people getting food, getting duped, getting stolen from, and then back on the streets, overthrowing the next guy. So it's not so much a call to overthrow anyone. I saw a great sign brought by a Gen Z kid yesterday, and it said, "Enough is enough. Jail the corrupt." Siguro yon, mag-umpisa tayo doon.
How do you think these rallies may influence the anti-corruption or infrastructure probe? What is the window of opportunity that you're seeing here? Of course, we do know that in recent months, politicians have been more responsive to what they see online. But these protests on the ground, ano kaya yung maging epekto niya in the overall discourse and discussion?
Okay, I just realized di ko nasagot yung previous question mo pala na ano yung pinagkaiba. So let me tie that into my answer now. So first, ano yung pinagkaiba? It's the input and the needle and the needling and the trigger is recurring eh. Kasi dati when we see corruption, it's a one-time thing. We see it, we get angry. Oh, nagkaroon pala ng Napoles pork scam, yung mga pork barrel pala ninakaw, etc., etc. Ito recurring to eh. Every time it rains, every time it floods, the people are reminded. So it's that problem. And how do I think these rallies will affect politicians and investigations? I think they're going to, by now, manhid na siguro sila pag hindi nila nakita na ang tao talagang galit. Magagalit
Kumbaga
ng tao.
parang mas nararamdaman ng tao yung ngayon dahil merong obvious signs of how this corruption affects us directly as opposed to Filipinos getting used to systems of corruption na sinasabi. Nako, lahat naman yan kurakot. I mean, we do know how it trickles down to
Right.
the very way the common Filipino interacts with government. Pag kumukuha ng lisensya, pag kumukuha ng permit. Ngayon, itong flood control issue, do you think it's strong enough to actually change the system?
Tactile and visceral kasi, Gretchen, eh. Binabaha yung mga komunidad, nalulubog ang mga bahay, people get sick with leptospirosis. And this is not something that will happen a couple of times a year. This will happen with regularity unless this is addressed. It will keep on triggering people's anger and triggering the outrage. So I think that's one of the things that makes this time different.
And speaking of political colors, do you foresee people from different sides coming together? And kasi sabi ni Kiko Aquino, di medyo malayo pa doon. Pero ano nakikita mo dito na pagbabago sa political landscape when it comes to the Duterte supporters, the liberals, the pinks, the yellows, and the progressives?
Well, yesterday nga, we walked EDSA, no? And there was quite a commotion near Gate 4 where Temple Drive meets EDSA. Kasi there were Duterte supporters there who tried to make it a call to oust Marcos, and there were some pro-Duterte sloganeering, so nagkaroon ng away, nagkaroon ng sigawan, later on nagkaroon ng suntukan between the camps, no? That is a challenge in terms of political divisiveness. There's really polarization. I wish in an ideal perfect world people will just focus on that, change the system, not the personality, hold people accountable, and really punish corrupt, which when I say corrupt does not necessarily point to any particular political color. But as Kiko said, and I share the sentiment, baka malayo pa tayo dyan, marami pang gagawin kasi hindi talaga ma-separate ang personal agenda ng isang political color from a mass protest such as yesterday, only because of the size and scale. You also have to remember that the size and scale of things will really, by natural law, will really just attract different political agendas into the conversation.
Pero kasi ano yun nga yung pinag-usapan namin din kahapon, usually mga people power movement, malinaw yan na gusto natin patalsikin itong current administration. This time around, kahit dun sa issue na kung meron ba tayong gustong patalsikin? Sinong gustong patalsikin? Pag pinatalsik ito, uupo naman yung vice-presidente. Paano yun? I mean, what do you make of that confusion and all that talk? And how do you think will this influence the 2028 presidential elections?
Ako, I think the call, imbis na patalsikin, simple lang yung panawagan ko. Ikulong. Sana may makulong. Let's not even go to patalsikin kasi patalsikin ano yan political exercise yan Let's make it an exercise of justice, of accountability. Justice and accountability ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, hindi shift of political power. Ikulong yung mga sangkot. Let's have a proper impartial, very thorough investigation and jail the people that need to be jailed, from the executive department, the legislative department, to even secretaries and line agencies that need to be held accountable. Ikulong. Moving forward in 2028, I think this is a definite inflection point to. Makikita ng tao na they will probably, I'm hoping, number one, yung mga Gen Z na sumama sa rally kahapon, sana yung kanilang order of attribute preference, hindi na dahil pogi yung kandidato, dahil magaling sumayaw, dahil magaling kumanta or mabait, mapagbigay, matulungin. Sana they're able to shift past that and really vote on substance and vote on people who will not make a repeat. Vote people who will not repeat the same debacle that we've seen.
Well, accountability is the word for today and yesterday, and that's coming from you and Kiko Aquino D. We hope that word rings through and gets to the halls of Congress and to their ears, of course. And we do hope to exact that accountability. Maraming salamat for helping us understand the rallies yesterday. Mahaba pa yung usapin na to, no? And this will develop even further. But for now, we'll let you enjoy the post-event where you had your fish balls and ice buko and rest a bit your muscles. Maraming salamat. We have political strategist Alan Herman.
Thanks, Gretchen. Maraming salamat po sa lahat na nanonood.